Theodore Roosevelt letters. These are great. Oh my God. If you ever want to see some really great letters, Theodore Roosevelt, the president, who was the president during the turn of the century, he dies at the age of 60. Okay? And you know how he dies? He dies because a blood clot had broken off, made its way to his lungs, and he dies. And this was at the very tail end of World War I. And Theodore Roosevelt was, Roosevelt, he was pushing for the Americans to go and attack Turkey. And he was saying the missionaries are ineffective. And this was, he grew up, he was friends with Dodge. Who's the Near East guy? Dodge. I'm trying to remember his first. Cleveland Dodge. So he has this back and forth. Cleveland Dodge has approached Roosevelt and said, hey, I got this great plan for you. We're going to save the world. And he wanted to push the Near East Foundation. And I have to tell you something. I don't know if I wrote about the Near East Foundation, but it is here because it's in the letters. Because Dodge slams the Near East Foundation and saying, this is absurd, this is dangerous, your missionaries have got us into this problem, and they're not going to get them out. And Dodge is saying, my kids are there, they're all involved, they're all helping, they're all doing whatever, and if we take war over there, they're going to be in danger. And he says, good. He said, then let them get the hell out of there. That's basically what he's saying. We need to get in there and we need to protect the Armenians. This is a man who was originally involved in getting this mess started. Now he wants to fix it because, speak softly and carry a big stick. That was his policy. So Roosevelt is pushing for this, and there's an interesting letter from J.P. Morgan to Roosevelt, and it was typed on a royal typewriter like this one here. This is from 1910, by the way. Shah Natali worked on a royal typewriter. It's not his, but it's reminiscent of what he used to use. And the Roosevelt letters in there's one from J.P. Morgan. It's 1910, December 25th, or 1909, December 25th. And he talks about the rise of nations are coming. This is in 1910. And they're trying to get him to run for president. It was around that time when Taft, Wilson, and now Roosevelt. They were trying to bring Roosevelt in to run for president. A few years before it was actually happening. You should come back and become president, and so on. He talks about that. Another very interesting letter is a letter from James W. Colt to Roosevelt. And it's an offering of a piece of the concessions. And this happens like 1909, maybe 1910. And it was a letter that didn't have to be sent. In fact, Colt writes the letter, is going to send it off, and then calls Roosevelt's office in New York to set up an appointment because he has a PS saying, I spoke to your secretary and I'm coming on this date, on Friday, let's say. He still sends a letter probably to cover his butt in case he doesn't get that meeting. And again, he's working for Schiff and he's working for J.P. Morgan. And so that letter was sent, and the beauty of the Roosevelt letters are, these are letters that probably should have been destroyed. Roosevelt dies suddenly, his wife has hundreds of thousands of these correspondences. You can see them on the Library of Congress. They're actually now online. It's not searchable, but there's an index. You search the index and you find out whether it's a sent letter, received letter, whatever it happens to be. All sorts of valuable stuff there. So that letter is there where Colby M. Chester talks about Roosevelt's son having a piece of the action of the Chester concessions. There's the letter when they actually offered it to him, and he obviously took it. And there were other things going on at that time when Armenians were trying to meet with Roosevelt, and he was just saying, I'm sympathetic with what's going on, but there's nothing I can do. And that's before 1915. The Armenians were already having these problems, and they were asking Roosevelt for help. So